happening. Now the sound now. I was having issues there a couple of minutes ago before I went live with the sound on the laptop, but I hope you can all hear me well. I said I'll pop on for just about half an hour tonight. It's getting late. I said I'd add a little bit of scenery into the background as well. So I put my ball on up that I won a couple of years ago in Padda Browns in Dublin. I won this. I'll tell you the story in a couple of minutes. Actually, I know what I think it was a bit of fate. I won that ball on, but I hope everyone's doing all right. I know it's a difficult fixture tomorrow in the Europa League, and what we're all hoping to be going into it, being confident and hoping that we could progress to the next round. But with a 4-1 aggregate score, it's going to be a difficult one. Martin O'Neill, he's up for the fight. He seems like he's at the bringing a full squad, bar one crucial player, which is Julian Araujo. Reports that he wasn't fit to travel. Is it just a tactical decision that he's not bringing him, and he wants to play Donovan or Ralston? Time will tell. Folks, let us know in the comments if the sound is okay. Do subscribe to the channel if you are over on Facebook as well. I'm gonna have to be honest with you. Kind of felt like shift form today. I'm absolutely delighted for Bodo Glimt last night. They absolutely, beating Atletico Madrid, beating Man City, beating Inter Milan in the San Siro, beating the Champions League finalists just shows that a team with a project are ambitious, and they don't even have the level of infrastructure Celtic Football Club have. But when I got off the podcast last night, I felt like, looking back over the AGM, over the Ross Desmond comments, looking back over the statement in the first week of September the club put out, saying that Celtic can't compete in the highest European stage down to finances and stuff like that. I think it would be an absolutely condemned field by the board. Now, I know there's some fans on the Facebook that were actually arguing with me today or disagreeing with me today about some fans that swear they've never seen a rainy day. You are very self-entitled. We've won trebles and you're moaning. What do you expect? Like, be a real fan and suck it up. That kind of mentality. Like, I watched the post-match reaction to the Bodo Glimt players last night, the ones that could speak English. Great English, by the way, because majority of them are Norwegian, and they obviously speak, a lot of Norwegians speak English as their second language. And they were talking about project. They're talking about, a team come together, being ready, being fit for the next game, because their season kicks off in a couple of weeks' time. They were just talking like, in the Norwegian league, Bodo Glimt majority are very similar to Celtic. They have an average around 70% of possession, and then the gritty work last night where they only had 30% of possession, but they took their chances quite well. So hello to everyone over on Facebook. Hello to everyone on YouTube. I'm going to be looking at your comments. There's only one comment there, so I'm going to keep winging on and talking about it tonight. I really feel, you go back to 4 years ago when we got beaten by Bodo Glimt. I was at the game at Celtic Park. I could not believe what I was seeing. They were so organised under Knutson. They were absolutely unbelievable. Even the away game, they were unbelievable. And they were Europa League semi-finals last season. And you were talking about one of the players that was being interviewed by CBS Sport was saying we've learned from the experience of last season, being in a situation where pressure was on us, getting to the Europa League semi-final, getting through them rounds, and they eventually got beaten by Spurs, which Spurs went on to win it. Big Ange knocked them out. But you could just see there's a unity there in that squad. You could just see that everyone has a role. They're in it. They're building a new stadium. I think it's only going to be like a 12 to 15,000 seater stadium, but the infrastructure of the stadium, it's like a bowl. It looks absolutely class. So yeah, if they can work on a low budget and keep their players around long enough, like some of their players have left and went on to move to Serie A. But I think Knutson, regards to Knutson, he's going to be a man in hot demand. I said it last night. Premier League clubs will be sniffing around for him. Would not be surprised if he's the next Spurs manager. Put the money on there. Put the money on that. So, there's not much comments coming in. Let us know how the sound is. I'm going to give you my prediction for the game tomorrow. Will we see Kobe Donovan start since Araujo did not travel with the squad today? Will Martin rotate the squad around? He's basically came out and said to the media that there's no such thing as a weakened squad. All these players have featured for Celtic this season. So he's not giving any hints away. Will we see Sinisalo start tomorrow? Will it be Kasper Schmeichel? Will he field a full strength squad? The regular players that are like Benjamin Egrin, McGregor, Scales, Yang, will Big Tam start tomorrow? My honest opinion about the game is just go out and play for pride. Play for pride. We have bigger things to be worrying about. And I know Martin O'Neill is stubborn, and he's obviously watched over the game twice, and he's probably pissed off that we got beaten at home 4-1 in the Europa League. Like, it's sad to say this is Martin O'Neill's last European game managing Celtic, perhaps, unless we pull off a miracle tomorrow. But what I will say is, to the 3,000 fans that have made the journey to Germany from all different destinations, they've flown to Switzerland and made their way up, or flown to France, or flown to different countries to go to support the team tomorrow. Have a safe journey, lads and ladies. Have a safe journey. So I put up a post earlier on about Liam Scales and Austin Trusty on Facebook, and put up on an Instagram. And I said, there's just a simple question. I want to get the fans' feedback on Scales and Trusty. Do you punt them in the summer, or do you keep them? Do you get rid of Trusty in the summer? Is he a liability in your eyes? Is he not good enough to wear the Celtic shorts? Or do you think that he's reliable, considering he did get sent off the other day and he's going to miss three league games? And the situation with Scales, do you think Scales is good enough to play for Celtic Football Club? Now, I have two different opinions on these players individually, because I think, first of all, Trusty looked all right at the start of the season for Celtic. And I felt a bit sorry for Trusty, because when Nancy came in, they were playing three at the back, and he was trying to, click to the system. And you could see that he was actually trying to bring the ball out and trying to make it work. And it just didn't work out for him. I think he's disciplined. I felt sorry for him with the sending off at Tynecastle. I don't think it was a red card, to be honest with you. And I know people are going to say in the comments, Keith, it was a red card on Sunday. It wasn't a red card. Look, decision is this decision. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say, because the SFA were never going to overturn it. I think it was an absolute disaster for Celtic even trying to appeal that decision, because it costs money. It's a waste of time. And let's be honest, the SFA are not going to turn over a card when Celtic are in a title race. They're dying. They're itching to see if Celtic could be out this by the weekend, to be honest with you. It's been a difficult week. But I was trying to lift a bit of optimistic feelings today when I was looking at Celtic title wins games. How many games did we lose, and we still went on to win the title? There was a season back in 1985 to 86, which is very familiar to Celtic fans, Love Street, which Hearts lost the league the last day down to, I think, Archibald Ball, is it? I can't even think of the name properly. The guy that scored for Dundee twice. And then we obviously went to St Mirren, and we hammered St Mirren that day. We lost 6 games last season in a 36-game league campaign, and still won the league on the final day. We won the league on the final day in 2007 and 8, which is my favourite title win as a Celtic fan. We went to Tannadice and we beat Dundee 1-0 that day. I think it was a Thursday night, if I'm correct, because I think Rangers had to go out and play the cup on the Sunday, and they were moaning. Then they were playing in the they were playing the Europa League the following week. But we lost 5 games that campaign, 5 games in that season, and we were absolutely brilliant. The next one that sticks out as well, which I checked up today, was the 97-98 season, which we stopped 10 in a row. And obviously we won the title against St. Johnstone that season at Celtic Park. And we lost 6 games that season. Now we're currently standing on 7 defeats with 11 games to go. I posted this today, and I said it out straight to Celtic fans. Do you think, by looking at these title wins and looking at these games, how many games we've lost in these seasons, do you think that we could still do it? And there was a bit, I'd say it was more so 60% were saying no, 40% were saying yes. And I know people are trying to lift the spirits. I'd want to give a shout out to Margaret as well. A customer came into my job today and said she recognized me from the podcast. So shout out to Margaret and our husband, who was over in Stuttgart for the game. I said, so shout out to Margaret and our hubby that's over for the game over in Germany. Safe travels to him as well. But anything can happen on Sunday. We could go out and actually play to a level where it could actually win a lot of fans back over, saying, well, you know what, we're actually not out of this just yet. And what could happen is we could drop points on Sunday and feel like we're completely out of it, because that's how I feel about it. I feel like if we draw on Sunday, in my head, we're out of it. Even though people are looking at Rangers, they're not looking at Hearts. Hearts win, they extend the gap. You know, it'll be 8 points then, you know, and that's every point when you're chasing, it gets harder and harder, especially in that table. So I'll just see how Sunday goes. I will be on live tomorrow night, by the way. I might do a watch along for the game tomorrow night because it's an early kickoff. So I might actually do a watch along for it. I finish work about 4:30. So time I get home, see the starting 11, whack up a video, do a live. I might do a watch along for it. I don't expect many people to watch along with me because the time of the day it is. People coming home from work. Some people are not arsed watching the game because they feel like they don't want to see that team being beaten, even though we could go out there and maybe score 1 or 2 goals and a bit of pride. So I do have my starting 11 prediction ready to go. I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. How's it going, Ryan? How's it going, Lynn? And oh yeah, back to Scales. I think the whole situation with Scales' confidence is being completely drained out since November, and before that, Scales was tipped to be player of the season for Celtic. People need to remember that, and people need to remember as well that, you know, Liam Scales was on his way out of Celtic a couple of years ago when Carter Vickers got injured. Nawrocki got injured, I think. There was players that were injured in the centre back role, and Welch as well. And Scales came into that role during pre-season, done well, and he cemented himself in the squad. People need to remember as well, Liam Scales got 2 man of the match Champions League performances as well in that season, and then last season he got a couple of goals as well. So, you know, he's not a bad player. I just think he's playing with the wrong player beside him, to be honest with you. I think the communication, he just looks rattled. He looks completely rattled. And I know some fans don't buy that. They want to think, well, if he's playing, you're playing for the shirt, you're playing for the cause. You can't keep making errors. I don't think he's good enough, Keith. I think he should be got sold in the summer. I understand these are frustrations with Liam Scales this year, especially since kind of November, Sean. I would say is give the guy a break. I'm not saying it because he's Irish. I'm saying it because I've seen what he can do when he's on form. He's a good player. He just needs a bit of confidence of taking the ball out and believing in himself a little bit more. You know, he just needs a bit of an arm around him. You know, we can get it together. You know, I think that's what the problem with some of these players is. I think some of these players are probably feeling you know, just don't feel that confident that they can get the best of themselves at times. And they're professional footballers and they're working with a phenomenal manager, but they need to lift themselves up, because if they lose this on Sunday, it's gonna feel like a long 10 games for them. They're gonna be chasing and chasing and chasing, you know. It's just, we don't want to be sitting here now next week, and I don't want to be coming on and feeling like, oh, he's talking, he's banging the same drum, he's moaning about the squad, he's moaning about players not being hungry, he's moaning about this again, he's moaning about that, because you can see it. And I just honestly, I know I have a big following on Facebook of 81,000 there, and I can't win over certain people. But when people come on and actually try to like literally verbally abuse me through online, like trying to be absolute fucking dicks about it. We all support the same club. I don't need to be lectured by someone that thinks that because they're on this planet longer than me doesn't mean that they can talk down to me like a piece of shit. At the end of the day, I'm someone that comes out of his own time to make these videos. I try, when I get time in work, if I get like 5 minutes to myself, I will try go on and try find a video and put a video up to cheer people up, because that's how much I love Celtic. That's how much I love our supporters. But look, you're always going to have bad eggs, and I'm not expecting any special treatment from people saying, "Oh my God, he's Keith." I'm just a normal person that just set up a page a long time ago. Do you think Casper should be dropped? Yes, I've said it so many times. I'm actually just bored in my head talking about it now, Ryan. I hope you're doing well, Ryan. Give us a shout out, folks. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Most of all, please press the like button. If it's Facebook or YouTube, every single like helps. If you're on YouTube, there's a heart button down the bottom. If you just tap that for a couple of seconds, it just brings a little bit of an algorithm as well. I'm going to say a lot on my podcast. I'm going to say a lot on my videos when I do make videos, that every sub, every video, every comment is crucial. Even though I might go past it by mistake, I will try to get back to it. How's it going, Ronald? How's it going, Ryan? Great to see you in. Great to see you in, Lynn. Great to see you in, Hell. Great to see you in, Rubber Ducky. Hell, Macari, you're spot on about the assessment of Scales. People forget we were saying he was a player. That's it. Like, I just, we can all play the blame game, and I'm an advocate for it. I criticize players a lot, but when I look at back of overall how Lee Scales has played for Celtic, I would out of a scale. Speaking about scales, out of a scale 1 to 10, I would say Liam Scales is probably being about 7 for Celtic at his very best, a 7 in his Celtic career. Like, some crucial blocks, some crucial performances, crucial goals, assists. Like, I've seen Liam Scales playing for Ireland against Portugal and Hungary, and he was unbelievable. He was a massive part of Troy Parra getting the assist or getting the goal against Portugal, and then the third goal against Hungary in the 96th minute. A moment that I will never forget. Probably one of my favourite moments in football ever, that Ireland and Hungary game. It's been the highlight of this whole football season calendar, to be honest, because being let down by Celtic Football Club on a regular basis, it's hard to lift yourself back up, but you still believe. Can I get your team for tomorrow? Of course you will. Just give me another 2 seconds and I'll put the team up for you, Ryan. He's a good player. Said it as many times. Exactly. Like, people need to lay off Scales a bit. As I said, if he was playing with Carter Vickers, maybe the situation would be completely different. But it is what it is. You can't reverse time. But the situation is, Carter Vickers is out until next season. Jota's out to next season. Hopefully we'll see Alistair Johnson back in full contact training soon as well. So I'm gonna put up my starting 11 for tomorrow. You can agree or disagree. Comments are welcome. So this is my starting lineup for tomorrow, right? Sinisalo in goal, if he can play, if he if he goes with Sinisalo, right? Colby Donovan right back because Araujo is injured. And I have to say, you go back to that Belgrade game, Donovan was the man of the match or player of the match, you want to call it. And I thought he was outstanding. What I say about Colby Donovan, I think he has a good future ahead of him at Celtic Football Club. It is going to be hard to get in there ahead of Alistair Johnson. And if Araujo signs on a permanent deal, if we put a bid in the summer from, he's going to feel like third fiddle. I've said this on the channel, and I will say this again. Punt Tony Ralston in the summer, as he's going into I think he's gone into his final couple of months of his contract anyway. And if Donovan, I would send Donovan on loan in the league, not an Adam Montgomery kind of like loan. I would send Donovan to maybe a Hibs, let him develop, have an option to call him back if we can, give him first team football, because I think he's going to mature as a player. I think he will be. I think he gets it. He's like he just reminds you of Tierney so much. Do I think he's going to be a 25 million player like Tierney? That's a long shout away. But I think he will be a crucial player for Celtic, and I think you need players like that. You know, players that come through the academy, which we don't get a lot anymore, and should be getting a chance at Celtic. So Donovan for me right back, Sarachi left back. I just think I like Sarachi. I think Sarachi's really good at pushing forward. I think he gets it. I think he has the hunger, he's determination. I would rest Tierney tomorrow for Ibrox. I think Tierney's meant to be one of these leaders. Tierney's on 50 grand a week, and if you want to win a title, you rely on your best assets to help you. And Tierney needs to be rested for Ibrox. You probably start Tierney tomorrow. And I'll be honest with you, I think Martin O'Neill will be making a bad decision putting the likes of Tierney, Negrin. You know, I would even rest McGregor tomorrow, but McGregor is in the starting lineup. Scales and Arthur, Benjamin Arthur. He could play Trusty tomorrow. Trusty is available for the game tomorrow. He could play Trusty, but I would start Benjamin Arthur to give him a bit of game time, get him used to whoever he's partnering. If it's Dane Murray or Liam Scales, I would start Benjamin Arthur tomorrow to give him a bit of minutes. Callum McGregor is going to start. You know, it's a European game. They need the motivation and they want to go out there and give their best. Bernardo, I would play. I think Bernardo, it sounds crazy, but I think his days at Celtic are numbered. I just think he's frustrated this season. He's not been oppressive at all when he's been called upon. He's came out and said to the Portuguese media that he's finding a frustrations season. I think Celtic will probably listen to offers for Paulo Bernardo, maybe go on loan in the summer. Luke McCown, another one, hasn't turned up this season. I kind of feel sorry for Luke McCown because I know how much this club means to him. We all know how much it means to Luke. But it's about, I will say, I thought Luke McCown was pretty good over in Rotterdam against Feyenoord. I thought he was outstanding in that game that day. And I thought he played more effective on the kind of the wing for Martin O'Neill when he came back to Celtic. Right wing, James Forrest. Obviously, I will be resting Yang. You play Jamesy tomorrow. Could be James's last European game for Celtic because his contract is up in the summer as well. A lot of people don't realise that as well. James Forrest, away goals in Europe, the goal that sticks out to me for James Forrest in Europe is the goal against Lazio in the Stadio Olimpico back in 2019, the equaliser. What a night. What an absolute night, especially for them fans who made it to the trip to Rome. Sebastian Tanecki, left wing. What I say about Tanecki is he's trying too much with the showboat stuff. Just keep it basic. Just keep it basic. If you have the communication with your players behind you and you have the confidence to push up and link with the main striker, you'll get a better rating. You'll get more credit. And then Junior Adamu. Junior Adamu will be used to the Bundesliga playing for Freiburg, which he's on loan from, option to buy. Hasn't really impressed, bar the goal he scored in the cup. Haven't seen a lot of him. I don't think he'd be a player that I would be looking to take on a permanent move. And past the go into the summer. I just think a whole complete reset needs to be done on the team, and bar like out of out of players that we've got on loan this season, I think Srirachi and Araujo are probably the only ones that I'd be considered taking. I think Big Tam, hold up play is good, but not enough yet. Not enough conviction with Tam. I think he's missing too many. When the ball's getting offered to him, he's flopping it, and he's not getting a lot of ball. When he does get a bit of ball, he's not being constructive on it at times. So that's my starting lineup. I hope you like the starting lineup. Let us know. There's 31 people tuning in tonight. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll stay on for another 10 minutes. There's something else I want to touch on tonight. Talk about transfers. Lech Poznan are considering actually signing Louis Palma, by the way. Louis Palma there was talks of maybe about 3 weeks ago that they weren't interested of taking the option to buy take in the summer. But we're going to look at Louis Palma's stats for Lech Poznan. Not the most it's, you know what, he's actually turning the corner. He's actually turning the corner, to be honest, in the Polish league. Just going to have a look at Louis Palma's stats here. So he's played 19 games. He's played 19 games for Lech Poznan since he arrived there. He's an average rating of 7.24, which is not bad, to be honest with you. He's probably been more productive than Tanecki, kind of the same level. 4 assists, 4 goals, 12 starts, which isn't bad. According to Celtic, value him at 4 million because he has like 3 years left in his deal. So he obviously went to Olympiacos and scored an absolute cracker for them in the whole 12 games he played for them. Didn't work out for him. 48 games for Celtic, 10 goals in his first season. In his first 3 months, he looked like a baller, and then just, you know, I think around Christmas time, it started to show the indications there that, you know, he's more focused on the likes of TikTok and social media. Maybe he was a bit homesick. He's had to be an overplaying, and obviously, is it Cyprus? Was it no Greece? He was playing in Greece before that. Maybe he was a bit homesick, and then he's gone back to the national team. He's scoring goals, and I know his grandma passed away as well. That could have played a massive part in his mind. Folks, they're footballers, but they're also human beings. And I know a lot of people say football is getting soft. Football is not to the same intensity it once was. Yeah, you were seeing at the weekend with a bit of handballs between McGrath and Trusty, and we seen a sending off. But Louis Palma, I don't know, would it take back? I think he's doing well in Poland. Look at the performances. Like he played in the Conference League there, and he had an 8 out of 10 performance, 7.1, 7.1, 7.6, some games 6. It looks like he's turning a corner, and it looks like there's talks that they're going to take it up. There was a report coming out yesterday that they are interested in taking the option and maybe paying the 3.5 for Louis Palma. Look, he's 26. If he's happy in Poland, let him go. Let him go over there. What I also would talk about regards to transfer news, I've seen a couple of other people talking about these two guys, but I'm going to give my verdict on them as well. So I don't know where this is coming from. Well, obviously the Daily Record's done a story on this, but reporting that we're in for two Plymouth forwards, Lauren Tojar and Ibrahim Pepel. Now, Tojar is Swiss. I think he's 25 years of age, and then Ibrahim Pepel, he's around 24. But the funny thing about these guys is Tojar, he played 3 games for Dundee back about 4 years ago. No, 3 years ago. His history of him is he's came through the Brighton Academy, and then he left the Brighton Academy, and then he was playing conference league, the conference, basically the National League of England. He was playing for Aldershot and started to build himself up. And then he got a move to Port Vale. He wasn't bad at Port Vale. I'll show you his stats now. And then he's been at Plymouth, and he's actually flying this season alongside this guy. But reported that we're in for these two guys. The last time I've done business with Plymouth Argyle is Conor Hazard. Conor Hazard left and went to them. There was talk of obviously Stephen Welch was meant to go there in the previous window, the summer window. There was talks that they were looking for the sweep from, but yeah. So we're looking. Well, potentially we're looking at these two guys. I don't know if it's any true to it. Some fans might not be because Plymouth are in League One, and we're looking at obviously getting two lads from League One in England. Is that the way it's going to go? Like, but I'm going to show you the stats. Just need to do a bit of a copy and paste job on the name so I can root it up. Get you the comments in as well. Look, the club are always going to identify players to their level, regardless manager coming in the summer or not. They're not bad players. They ain't bad, but like Celtic could do better. You know, you're looking like if you want to be ambitious, you go out and get you get the Motherwell striker, Masmanise. I think Motherwell will slap a £7 million fee on him. If he scores against Celtic in the two games that we played them at Celtic Park and at Fair Park, you'll see them putting the prices up. If he scores against Rangers, scores against Hearts, the price of him will be going up big time. Just give me 1 second now. Nah, it doesn't want to copy and paste for me, folks. I'll just have to literally just look for it in a couple of minutes. It's just because I have so many tabs open. That's why it slows down the stream. It does at times. So let me know if you can see me okay, hear me okay. Tell us where you're tuning in from. As I said, please subscribe to the channel. It'd be really appreciated if you could. Trying to get to that 19.2 as soon as possible. We're flying with new subscribers over the last couple of weeks. Shout out to people that have joined over from Facebook as well. I really appreciate you coming off to the YouTube channel as well. And shout out to the oldies that have been here since day one as well. Been really, really good to use. Enjoying as well. Let's see, can I get this guy up on the screen? So the fourth one, which is the most important one. Right, here we go. So there's a bit of a perspective on this. This guy, Lauren Toja, the guy that I was saying that came through the Brighton Academy. Now he ended up going to Aldershot. Then he went to, I know these clubs don't sound appealing to some Celtic fans. Aldershot, then went to Port Vale, and then got his move to Plymouth. So this is a guy here, 24 years of age. He's done well this season. 14 goals games for Plymouth. Look at his stats. Good performances. Cardiff City. They beat a team that's pushing for promotion. Cardiff. Decent game against Luton. Obviously, Luton were relegated last season. They're in League One. Peterborough against the Posh, 7.9. Against Bristol Rovers, 8. You know, Bolton Albion. Like, people know these clubs. So there's his youth career there on the right hand side, folks. Obviously, got his breakthrough into the Brighton under-18s in 2018. Played 36 games for them, 22 goals. Then moved up a level to 23s, 27 games, 7 goals. Never got into the Brighton team on a senior level. Got moves to Dundee, as I was saying earlier on. 3 games for them, no goals. Salford, 17 games, 1 goal. Not really selling it there. And then when he went to Aldershot in the National League in England, which is with what's the equivalent of the 4th tier, the 5th tier of English football, he done all right there. And then he went to Port Vale, which was League 2, 46 games, 16 goals. And then this season, he has 17 goals in 28 games. So I'll keep an eye on this one. It just broke yesterday that we're looking at these guys from Plymouth, and then the other guy, Pebble. He's not really scored as much goals as Toja, but we will talk about him as well. I'll just read up his stats for you as well. See what's going on, and just keep the comments going as well. I'll stay on for about another 5 minutes. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll decide about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock tomorrow if I'm gonna do a live stream for the game. You know, feels like a dead rubber game for fans because everybody has their heads focused on Sunday for the derby at Ibrox. Let's see if this is loading. 2 seconds now. About 50 tabs open. That's why. Things you got to do for these podcasts. So let's see now. Hoping that we don't get beaten 5-0. Look, Martin O'Neill's completely up for it. He's not. He's had to bring a full strength team, bar Araujo. He's up for it. He wants to, obviously, if we're going out, go out with a fight. Go out with a fight. The Europa League was always going to be a distraction. I never believed that we were going to win it. Even when we got knocked out against Almaty in the Champions League qualifiers, I was like, you know what? Take the Europa League. It's a Thursday night. It's a bit of football. Can't be that bad, but we don't need that distraction right now, especially when we're not great playing domestically. So this is the guy I'm talking about, the other player that plays alongside Toja, which is Ibrahim Pebble. Now he's Canadian citizenship. He has, I don't think he's actually been capped for Canada just yet. So this season he's played 30 games, 11 goals. He's had stints at Luton. He's had stints at Chesterfield. Not many goals at Chesterfield. Not many goals. All right at Southend. You know, he's played at Inverness, which was 18 games, 2 goals. So this is a guy that's worked his way kind of up as well. Not through like a big academy like Brighton or anything like that. So not really fond of this guy, but he's meant to be a really good holding player and really decent in the air. So we'll see what happens with this lad as well. So we're meant to be 2 Plymouth players. Is that the standard of Celtic now that we're looking at Plymouth players? League One. It's just, the thing is, the board are going to scrape the barrel this summer, regards to transfers. We're not going to see them spending mad money. And as much as we feel as fans, certain players need to be gone from the club, it's going to be hard to shift these players because some of them might have 2 years left. You know, it depends what type of fee we get. Their families might be happy in Glasgow season. You know, you got to think of all the logistics behind transfers. It's not that easy just to say, right, I want him gone. I'll punt him. Oh, he's shy. I want him gone. You know, as I said earlier on, some people want Liam Scales gone, but people forget how vital Liam Scales was in the last 2 seasons for Celtic. People forget about that. People forget, yeah, he did have a bad game at Ibrox last year in the 3-0 defeat, and he was horrendous in that game. But when I look at the Champions League performances he put in, man of the match performances, I'm like, there's not that bad of a player. If you're playing against teams and you're getting a man of the match performance, I think he got a man of the match performance against Atletico Madrid, if I'm correct. No, it wasn't Atletico Madrid. I think it was actually Young Boys, if I'm correct. So, and Lazio. I remember that tackle against Lazio, Cruz right in there as well. I had the same team. Well, I'm glad you had the same team. As I said, regardless what I predict, regardless what you predict, Martin, stick to his guns. He knows what he works with the guys on a daily basis. And if he's going to play Negrin tomorrow, if he's going to play McGregor, is he going to play Trusty, considering Trusty's obviously his confidence is a bit down after the sending off. Take Scales to whack waste of a jersey. Thomas, he's been brutal because a lot of the players have been brutal. You know, there's been a lot of waste jerseys this year, to be honest. I understand your frustration. I completely do. Like, we're in the business end. I know it always feels like the business end when you're every game feels like a business end because you need to win every single match. But he needs to be a man. He needs to turn up and start playing for the cause, playing for the jersey. And with these 11 games left in the league and the Scottish Cup game as well, and the Europa, with 13 games left, 13 games left. If we don't get through in the Scottish Cup, fingers crossed we do at Ibrox, especially with the Broom long capacity. Scales could turn a corner. You know, Scales could turn a corner. Maybe Scales. You know what Scales is probably missing? Scales is probably missing a winning goal, a winning just to lift his confidence. Being up there, corner kick, bang, scores the winner. That'll lift him. Or a big tackle in a big game will lift his confidence. As I said, it's hard for players the fans are getting on their backs. Like, Liam Scales doesn't have Instagram or social media. The reason why I know he doesn't have it is because I met Liam Scales a couple of times when I was flying back to Dublin back a couple of years ago. This is before he went on loan to Aberdeen, surprisingly enough. And then I met him again last year, and when obviously he's been at Celtic. But I was saying to him in the airport, I was asking about Ange at the time because Ange was the manager. Was Ange the manager? Yeah, Ange was the manager. And I turned around and I said to him, I was like, if Scott Brown came in, this was when Scott Brown was at Fleetwood. I said, if Scott Brown came in for you, would you go down? He said, I don't care where I go. Once I'm playing first team football. And then a couple of days he went to Aberdeen, and then obviously he scored that cracking goal against McGregor. You remember that as well, don't you? Don't think about the bad times. Sometimes think of the good times. Think of the good times. You know, think of the good times. But what I was going to say about this thing behind me, the ball run. So I won this in a raffle. When I think we beat Rangers 3-2. Was it 3-2? Yeah, I think it was when Jota done that. I think he chipped McGregor, or was it McLaughlin or McGrory? I don't know. I'm trying to think now. Go back to that game. I'll go back to it. So the previous night, I was out in Sucky Hall Street with my partner, and this was the Thursday before Good Friday, and I found a phone in a taxi. Now the taxi man was being a complete dick to me because he was charging me double the fare to get home because I couldn't pre-book a taxi for my life. Nothing come up in Glasgow cabs. I tried Uber, tried everything, couldn't get a taxi home, and then eventually we got a taxi. So I found this iPhone. I charged this iPhone. The phone rang on the Friday morning. The father of the person who lost the phone rang and said, "You have my daughter's phone. Is it possible I can pick it up?" I said, "Of course you can." I gave him my address. He came up just after midday. He was a Celtic fan because I wore my Celtic jersey down. And he was like, "Here you go. Here's £35." I was like, "Mate, I don't want your money." And he's like, "Assist, please take it." And I said, "Look, I'm at the charge your daughter's phone. It's a full charge there. I didn't go near her phone. I just put it on charge for you, and I just answered the phone when you rang. She's got no other calls since." And he was delighted. So that was my good deed done. I went to Dublin the next day. The derby was on. I was in Peter Brown's, and there was these two guys beside me. Never met them before. And I turned around and I said, the raffle was going. They were doing a raffle for it. I think it was like for a charity. And I said, I'll buy 2 tickets. It was a tenner. And I said to these two guys, I goes, "I have a feeling I'm going to win this." And they just looked at me and I goes, "I just have a feeling. I just have that gut instinct that I'm going to win this raffle." And then the ticket came in, and I won it. And I was like, I went up and I won the Champions League. But the strange thing about this story is I just need to get this top up. Celtic Adidas retro. I need to find this top because I was wearing this top this day. I only bought this top. And I'll tell you the story behind it in a second. If we find this. There it is. I'll just use it from the Seltzer here website. Shout out to the lads in the Seltzer here. I know Quinny and the lads do the stuff over there. That's the wrong leak. That's the wrong top. But it's similar to the top I was wearing anyway. So I'll just show you now anyway. So anyways, enough going on about this this story. So I win this baller on, right? And there's a boy, surprising enough, his dad follows the channel. And the boy spent 25 quid on tickets to win this baller on. And he breaks down crying. Now, I'm saying to myself, right, this baller on is worth a fortune. I like it because it's sentimental. It's Celtic. I live in Glasgow. You don't see a lot of them over here. I want it. And the boy's crying, and everyone's like, Jesus Christ. Like, you're at the ruining his moment. So what I done was, I had this jersey on. I only to spend it. I think it was set. How much was that the time I spent on it? I think it was just under 70 quid I spent on the jersey. And I gave him my jersey. I gave him my jersey. I said, no. I goes, here's the jersey. It was any other raffle, any other prize, I wouldn't give a shit. You can have a jersey. Here you go. I'm keeping the ball on. And everyone started clapping. So, yeah, I won fair and square, but I felt sorry for the guy that lost, and the little boy that lost, and I gave him my jersey. So, just a little story there. So, yeah, that's it. So, folks, I'll be back tomorrow night. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you are all doing well. Stream's quite slow tonight. It's quite late. My final prediction for the game tomorrow. I'm going to say 1-0. I was going to say 1-0. I don't have high hopes going in for it, to be honest with you. Stuttgart drew 3-3 the weekend away in the Bundesliga. But, league form to Europa League's completely different. We lost the weekend, as we all know, 2-1 to Hibs. So I'm going to jump off. I appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Do subscribe if you're over on Facebook, like Andrew and Ryan and Thomas. Get over to the YouTube if you can and subscribe. It's free of charge, and you'll see more content there as well. But thank you very much for everyone tuned in. Speak to us tomorrow sometime. And thanks very much, Ryan, as well, of course, Ryan, one of our members. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks, and